2 days before my 65th birthday. It makes this a very special and very memorable time. So tonight, I really am celebrating her life of 88 years and thanking her for giving me life. As you may know, my mom is very creative. She's curious, resourceful, practical, strong, stubborn. These are the traits that she shared with me, and I watched her in how she did things in my growing up years. She taught me to be self-sufficient, to be independent, use my mind, be creative in my own way. I think I got my adventurous spirit from her. She knows that I did a lot of sports, and she always worried that I would get hurt and that I wasn't getting enough rest or getting enough food to eat. When she got on Facebook, I really started watching what I posted, because she'd say, "Oh, you were doing that," and then I'm going, "I was, you saw that," So I don't think she knew about my most current accident, and I'm glad that she didn't. It was very scary, and I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't tell her any of that. During the worst moments, I would call out to my mom and say, "I want my mommy." And my husband always says that when I'm not feeling well, I roll around and I say, "I want my mommy." Brings me back to when I was a kid. She always did that. She'd rub my forehead, hold my forehead. She'd massage my hair, my head, my hair. It makes me feel better. And I carried that through all my adult years. One thing she did also was every month she'd send us a card and have a handwritten note. It was something that she continued on after my father passed away 6 years ago. And the last card she sent a month ago, she wrote a note and just said, "I'm thinking of you today. God loves you. I love you, Mom." So, anyway, our mother is very devoted to God. Her heart is with God. During her last few days of life, I know that God held her in His arms. She went through a lot of pain and discomfort. But I know that she believed in God's promises, and the purpose of her life was based on what God's will was. And so if you will join me, let us recite Psalm 23. King James Version. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening to join us in celebrating my mom's life. When I was working on the programs 2 nights ago, I I wasn't sure who would come up here and share words of comfort, words of love, and words of care. And I immediately thought about a good friend of mine. We've known each other for more than 10 years now. And his name is Ben Perez. He right away said yes when I texted him. And I know that he also had that connection with my mom, or he's been my mom's. Sometimes he played the piano for my mom whenever she sang. So Ben, could you come up here and please help us in just having our thoughts guided and be comforted by your words. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Kind of a strange thing to say, but it is good to be here with you all. To honor a lady that we loved and love. And to remind you all that this is something that human beings throughout their history have done. There's only a couple people that I know of that never tasted death. The rest of us live and breathe, have children hopefully, have grandchildren, maybe grandchildren, great-grandchildren. But life on this earth just doesn't last that long. And people over the centuries, over the millennia, have tried to deal with that fact. We're fortunate. We have the scriptures to show us the way. We have an assurance that much of the world doesn't know. There are people in strange lands from here who believe that it's important to close your eyes after a person dies because that's where the spirit gets to the soul. And you need to protect the rest of the family from that. When they would lead a body out of the house, make sure it's feet first because they don't want the decedent looking back and then the spirit coming back to the home. There are other forms of religion and philosophy where people have to get everything right. Say the right word, the right chant, wear the right clothing, at the right time, to make sure the loved one passes over into the next life. Otherwise, there are problems. There are other denominations where they believe that we need to do a lot of praying, a lot of soul searching, paying a lot of alms to make sure our loved one gets out of purgatory. Other religions, as I said, different. We need to bury them up in the mountains so they're closer to the afterlife, to heaven, wherever that is. No, we need to bury them deep, deep, deep in the ground because that's where the underworld is. We want to make sure they have a safe passage there. And we want to make sure their tombstone is filled with all sorts of wonderful things to thank the spirits or to ward out the spirits. We have a different understanding. As those who came before me said, Lola Cres believed in Jesus. And she remembered and trusted in the scriptures that says, I am the resurrection and the life. And because she believed that, because she trusted in God, her Father, and His Son, Jesus Christ, she faced adversity, the challenges of life, her pain, with courage, knowing that this life is not the end of all things. And so we here tonight aren't worried for her. We're not concerned about her eternal destiny. We're not fidgeting and worrying about saying the right words, doing the right things, in the right order to make sure she hopefully gets there. We have that assurance. So why are we here? We're not worried for her. We're not sad for her. We're sad for each other. Because we're the ones who are left behind. She is peaceful now. No more pain. No more suffering. No more tears. We have tears. We have anguish. We feel the loss. And what do we do about it? We are very fortunate that we have the scriptures to remind us what we can do and are doing. If you have a Bible or a cell phone with internet service, please open to the book of 2 Corinthians, the very first chapter. 2 Corinthians, chapter 1. I'm just going to read a couple verses and then we're going to move on. If I can open the page to it. Verse 3 of 2 Corinthians, the first chapter says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort." The God that our Lord believed in is the God of all comfort. And when it talks about comfort, it's not about comfortable sheets. It's not about comfort food. It's not about making sure it's the right temperature in here, that you're comfortable. No. The comfort that the Bible is talking about is that when you're a kid, and the first time you hear thunder, and you don't know what it is, and you're scared, and you run to your mommy and daddy, and they comfort you. The word for comfort, 2 words: going to and alongside. So the God of comfort is a God who is alongside with us. He's not just far off. He's here in this place with us. Not taking away the pain, but helping us through it. Let's keep going. Verse 4. "Who comforts us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble, with comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." That is why we are here tonight, right now. We ask the God of comfort to be with us, to help us through this, to help us make sense of all it. And because we know that God is with us, we are able to comfort each other here. We're not alone. We're not dealing with this all by ourselves. We're not feeling the loss and saying, "Oh, no one knows what I'm going through." We're all different. We all grieve in different ways, but we all grieve. And we all feel the hurt. And God has brought us all here to comfort each other. So what do we do? Do we laugh? Do we cry? Do we yell? Do we beat our chests? Whatever it is that you need to do, it's okay. If you want to cry, it's okay. If you want to hug each other, it's okay. If you want to laugh, we're going to do a lot of laughing soon, right, Billy? It's okay. We just need to remember that the God of all comfort, who loves us, who loved Cres, is here with us now, and will give us the comfort and care that we need until we are all reunited with her again. Let us pray that we continue to be faithful, that we continue to have hope for a future, that we will continue to be a source of comfort, even as we're comforting each other tonight and this weekend. May God be with us all, now and for eternity.
Good evening. I'm Cres Pimentel, the daughter-in-law, wife of Norman Pimentel. Mommy will always remain close to my heart. She was the someone who made sure she got along well with everyone. I've witnessed how she was always there, listening, understanding, accepting, despite everyone's differences. I thank her for her unconditional love and acceptance. Her love and the way she lovingly accepted me into her family will always be a precious memory for me. We will all miss her, but we take comfort that she lived a fulfilled life. Yes, she loved to cook, sing, garden. She loved to travel. She even has a Facebook account. And I remember the day she invited me to be her friend. And then when we would visit her in Leisure Glen, even in Leisure Glen, she kept herself busy. And we would find her knitting or looking at her great-grandchildren's pictures, showed her great-grandchildren's pictures to us. So we take comfort that she lived a fulfilled life. And she is resting now peacefully, sleeping peacefully in her temporary resting place until her Maker calls her name in the resurrection morning.
I think most of you know me. I'm retired Air Force Master Sergeant Billy Castillo. I brought some PowerPoint slides with me to help me with my tribute to my mom. I'm also borrowing some words from one of my favorite generals. Unfortunately, he's in the Army. It's okay. His name is General Douglas MacArthur. I think a lot of the Filipinos know who he is. Yes? Because he promised to return after to rescue or to save the Philippines from their aggressors, and he did come back. So that's why he was one of my favorite generals. So the words I'm going to borrow from him tonight are the following. Duty, honor, and country. These three words is basically what every man and woman in the armed forces try to live by. We try to represent those words, what it really means. What we ought to be, what we can be, and what we will be. I was able to serve, able to do my duty because Mom was there. I left Reggie when she was, 6 months pregnant, 1 month pregnant. Okay. The Air Force says, hey, look, we need you in Korea, so okay, I go to Korea. Reggie followed me to visit, so Janae was able to visit Korea when she was 6 months old. I wasn't able to do my duty if Mom wasn't home taking care of my wife, right? So in the same manner, she was actually pulling duty side by side with me. The other word that I shared with you earlier is that honor. To me, it represents not just honoring your parents or honoring your beloved wife or husband, but it's actually you are doing the best you can, going above and beyond the call of duty. Mom Cres honored her loving husband. Pastor Pimentel traveled everywhere. He's got his own duty as a regional pastor or district pastor. And then Mom actually went wherever he went. Okay? She was side by side with him, serving him so that he could do his duty for the people that he served. Country. After Korea, the Air Force wasn't done with me. They said, we want you to go to the Middle East. We want you to serve there too. We want you to serve the war fighters. You know, I wasn't in the Army, I was in the Air Force, so a lot of it is support. We do logistical support, we do a lot of, you know, we're the smart ones. We send our officers to fight while we stay back. And then Lola wasn't happy with me that I recruited April in the Air Force. She went to Iraq, right? She went to Iraq. She also lived by these words: duty, honor, and country. But the three words that I share with you tonight, the one thing that really she wants to share with us is written on this wall. If you look up on this inscription on the wall, it's faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. She may have not served the war or actually went hand-in-hand combat. There's two occasions that a military member gets a flag presented to them. One, on the occasion of their retirement. So I got these on my occasion of my retirement, signifying that I faithfully and dedicated 22 years of service to this country. This is my reward. Second occasion, you'll get this. This for you. When you retire, I just want to be able to share this flag with Mom. This flag was flown in the Middle East, as well as Horn of Africa. To represent my duty, my devotion to this country. I wasn't able to do that without Mom. So I want to share this with her tonight. But I won't give this to her because it's mine. So allow me to share this with her tonight to represent the three words that I shared with you tonight. Thank you. Catherine. Show them. Okay. What's your name? Catherine. What's your last name? Your last name is Kit Kat? Okay, good. This is April's daughter, and the husband is Aaron Fargo, who also served in the Armed Forces, Air Force. And you're a proud daughter. And what is this you're going to give to Lola? A bunny. And what does the bunny say? What's written on the bunny's tummy? Huh? Okay, I'll read it. It said, Lola, I love you, right up to the moon and back.
Upon hearing from Auntie Reggie that this was one of Lola Garcia's favorite songs, I can totally understand, and it basically defines her devotion to God and the way she lives her life.
I say thanks for the things you have done for me, things so undeserved, yet you give to prove your love for me. The voices of a million angels could not express my gratitude. All that I am and ever hope to be, I owe it all to thee. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things He hath done. With His blood, He has saved me. With His power, He has raised me. To God be the glory for the things He hath done. Just let me live my life. Let it be pleasing, Lord, to Thee. And should I gain any praise, let it go to Calvary. With His blood, He has saved me. With His
Thank you, Jonathan, Jeb, for singing that one favorite song of Mom's. And just to share with you, Janae and I were talking and trying to figure out what inscription we would place on Mom's tablet next to Dad's. And when I was thinking about the program, and I thought about Jeb, and I was reading through the words, and it hit me, and Janae said, "Yes, Mom, that'll be it." And it would say, "All that I am and ever hope to be, I owe it all to thee." Can I please call Pastor Daniel Ocampo to lead our benediction? Thank you.
I request everyone to please rise. Thank you for allowing us to feel, Father. That while our hearts are broken and bleeding, yours was the same. Thank you for the godly and heavenly empathy that everyone have felt tonight. How amazing that because of the life of one of those who became faithful to you, have touched, have changed, and influenced lives. We remember. Thank you for the gift of your nearness tonight. And because of that, our brokenness are healed and made whole. Thank you for your comforting words. And may it be that as we go our ways, may we always remember that you'll never forget, never forsake, nor leave us behind. Thank you for comforting and being the God of all comfort to your people tonight, especially the Pimentel family and all the others who will be touched by your life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
My husband reminded me we still have time. If there is anyone here who would like to share words of sentiments and tribute to about my mom, your relationship with my mom, with your friend or family, we welcome you to come up here and please share them with us. We would like to hear that. Aaron Carter.
Hello, I'm Aaron, April's husband. I got two things real quick. Lola was, she had a really keen sense of humor. Probably 6 months after we got married, we were at Auntie Laura's and Chris's house for Christmas, and she made it known what she wanted. She gave April a nightgown for Christmas, and it was the type of nightgown which would maybe promote us trying to have kids. So it just, it worked, yeah. She loved me like one of her kids, and I loved her like a grandmother. Probably this last Christmas, we were at Auntie Reggie's house, and the kids called her Lala, and Thomas came downstairs, and I'm never going to forget it because he she had to come in late that night, and I went downstairs and sprinted to her, and at that point Lola she was getting around but not too mobile, but Lola actually picked him up and held him and hugged him, and Thomas screamed, and it was a really good moment. So I just loved her, and thank you.
Is there anyone else? Well, on behalf of the Pimentel family, we thank you for coming here this evening. Thank you for those who participated. Ben, thank you again, and Jeb, thank you very much. And I'm glad that he made it because the rest of the family is already on their way on vacation. And thank you for family and friends who brought food this evening, and we have a small reception on the right-hand side here. Flowers this evening, we thank you. I'd like to thank Bill and Donna, as well as Jonar and Lloyd, and in absentia this evening, but will join us on Saturdays, the Los Angeles vocal artist, and of course, my sister Loris and my brother Chris. I really appreciate this time, and thank you for supporting us in this time of grieving. It's gonna hit me, I guess, later on, but it's getting there, and just bear with me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our service here in the church. At this time, I'm going to invite you all to come forward to pay your respects. You'll exit the doors to my right. If you do want to partake in some of the refreshments that the family has brought, you're welcome to do so when you've left the church. There's a door on the side here you can go through, or you can come back in the front doors, either way. So we'll start with the people that are all the way in the back. Also, I do want to mention to you that the service is this Saturday, at 1 o'clock at Central Filipino Church. It's on Colorado Boulevard. It's 777 Colorado Boulevard, Los Angeles. It's not too far from here, actually, on Colorado. So if you need instructions, you need this, again, you can either ask myself or one of the family members, and they'd be happy to give that to you. I hope you'll all be able to go to that and support the family. So we're going to start with the people that are all the way in the back. If we could ask you to come forward first, and then we'll go row by row. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you.
Back.